just wish that I could see her. I wish I could see Kim. Oh my God! Hey, look who I found wandering around in the multiverse. Kim, it is so good to have you back. How have you been lately?
Pretty good, actually. It's nice to be back in Arizona.
It was honestly kind of scary not having you around. For those who don't know, Kim recently moved away from her family. She no longer lives in Arizona, but we wished her all the best. I'm just really happy to have you back for this review. So, because I used my magic to get her back into our universe, Kim is here to talk about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Mom. Multiverse of Madness. I've been waiting to tell that joke. Just one of those lame jokes I had to get out of my system. It honestly just makes my head explode how good the joke was. Kind of like how Black Bolt's head exploded in this movie. Yes, for those who could tell by the title, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review, guys. But yes, Kim, it's been a while since you made a video here on Around the Clock Frights, so let me ask you a question. Was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Mom worthy of your grand return to the channel?
Actually, I did really like it for the most part. There was a couple of things that was a little but for the most part, I really did enjoy it.
And you mentioned before we watched the movie that you haven't seen every entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that includes the TV series, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So as someone who hasn't watched every previous entry like I have, were you confused at all by the narrative? Did you have a lot of questions as you were watching the movie?
Not really. There was a couple of things here and there that I maybe had a couple questions on, but other than that, for the most part, it kind of explained and summed up some of the things that I most likely would have had questions on.
In the grand scheme of things, as far as where I would rank it, among the many, many other Marvel Studios films, honestly, I would say this is in the bottom half for me. It certainly had its moments, visually, this was a magnificent looking movie. And us as horror fans, we got really, really excited because they brought our boy Sam Raimi on to direct. Yes. When they announced that, I just got so excited because Sam Raimi is someone who has always been a very talented director. He's very energetic and he does some really neat tricks with the camera. Mm-hmm. And he's very good at pacing. He's very good at keeping your attention. And for the most part, he brought a lot of energy to this film. I would put most of the blame on the screenplay and the writing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would definitely say with the screenplay and the writing for sure.
Now, I did watch WandaVision. Like I mentioned, I've watched all of Marvel Studios properties. I'm a humongous fan. WandaVision, I was talking about it with our friend Thor. Her name, as many of you know, is Thor. That's not just an affectionate name we give her. She has an awesome name. Anyway, I was talking to her about it, and at the end of WandaVision, for those of you who have seen it, she has kind of a redemptive moment at the end. She recognizes she made a mistake by holding all these people hostage in Westview, and she makes a personal sacrifice. These children that she conjured up with her magic, she decides to sacrifice them for the greater good, to allow everything to go back to normal. And so there was no indication that she was going to become the main antagonist of this movie. So let me ask you, first 20 minutes of this movie, Wanda Maximoff enters the picture, and we find out that she is now a corrupted witch. Almost no build-up, she's just the antagonist now. Was that as jarring for you as it was for me?
It definitely was. That was one of my concerns with this, was the fact that it just instantly made her a villain. There's no build-up, nothing. We just, right from the get-go.
And at least in my opinion, you can't use the excuse that they addressed it in the other Marvel properties, because honestly, they really didn't. And I have a good example. Thanos, in the first 3 phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he served one purpose. One grand purpose. He was always meant to be the antagonist. Mm-hmm. So it'd be like if you spent all this time establishing him as the villain, only for him to suddenly turn good in Infinity War.
Yeah.
I mean, how satisfying would that be? I mean, there was little to no development with Wanda Maximoff in this movie. We get one brief scene of her and her children, and that's pretty much it. It was very jarring. They pulled a Daenerys Targaryen. It was very rushed. And here's the biggest problem I had with this movie. So Wanda, she is the central antagonist. That's the central conflict of the movie. Doctor Strange versus Wanda Maximoff. They're trying to protect this teenage girl named America Chavez who can, jump into different realities and universes. And because we have a villain so underdeveloped in this case, it just makes the conflict in general feel very bland. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Because, we're constantly asking ourselves, man, when did Wanda become so evil? Why? And I understand, she's been corrupted by the Darkhold. But again, it was so sudden and just so jarring.
It still raises the question of, when did it begin? Where did it begin?
Well, there was a post-credit scene in WandaVision where she has the Darkhold. But again, it was a post-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
We needed more time with Wanda to see, how she became corrupted, at least in my opinion.
No, I agree.
And let me ask you another question. Originally, there was a 2-hour and 40 minutes cut of this movie. Do you think having more time dedicated to the overall story would have helped it? Especially if they'd spent more time with Wanda?
It could have. I definitely could see it if they could have spent a little bit more time on her character and the development of it,
mm-hmm.
that it may have came out more effective than what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So we've complained plenty about Wanda. Kim, why don't you tell our viewers, what is the basic idea of Multiverse of Madness? What is the general plot of this movie?
Pretty much, America has this power. Does it?
America has the power.
America has the power.
America Chavez. Yes, she's a big presence in the comics.
And she has the power to pretty much open up portals to other multiverses, and she doesn't know how to work her powers. And pretty much that they are, well, in the case of Wanda, trying to get into a universe where she has her kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she will stop at nothing to get this, and that means trying to steal the energy, would you say, from
the energy from inside her? Yeah, basically stealing America's powers so she can
open up the portal.
Yeah,
and then get to where she needs to go. And they have to stop her, pretty much stop her from opening up what could cause chaos.
And magical shenanigans ensue.
Yes.
Here's another problem with this movie. Okay, so at the very beginning of the movie, Doctor Strange is going to a wedding. Rachel McAdams' character from the previous movie is getting married. You had not seen the first Doctor Strange movie, right?
I have not.
Okay.
I will be now, though.
Benedict Cumberbatch and Rachel McAdams had little to no chemistry in the first Doctor Strange. And it was very clearly established that their relationship was never supposed to work. So in this movie, when his whole thing is, trying to, find a connection to Christine, he ultimately meets her, in another universe. We honestly just don't care very much because the relationship was never stable to begin with. And
there was no emotion.
There was no emotions, and
even though I haven't seen it, but you know what I mean.
The film just doesn't give us enough time to really, relish these, these characters' connections. Like when Rachel McAdams shows back up, I didn't really feel anything because I knew that she was just never, meant to be a serious love interest for, Steven to begin with.
Well, and even just the little bit of screen time they did have where there could have been something because you had Rachel McAdams or Christine from another multiverse, in front of, Strange
mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, where they could possibly been lovers.
Yeah.
You just didn't see that romance.
And Rachel McAdams, a very talented actress. We've loved her in plenty of other things before. But as far as her chemistry with Benedict Cumberbatch and, given how much we're supposed to care about their relationship and Strange's attempts to legitimately connect with her.
Just not buying it.
Just not buying it.
We are not friends, Christine. We were barely lovers. But you just love a sob story, don't you? Is that what I am to you now?
For the most part, Sam Raimi does bring his A game to this movie. He does all these neat camera angles. I mean, it is a very fast-paced, energetic movie. A good example of that is the initial battle between all the sorcerers and the Scarlet Witch. I mean, you have all of these very, epic moments. There's that wonderful scene where she's surrounded by all those reflections, and she puts her hand through the water, which was a reference to the original Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Because there was a great moment where Bruce Campbell, put his hand in the mirror. So there are fun sequences in this movie.
There was the pulling down.
Yes.
There was that scene, kind of give you
Drag Me to
Me
Hell.
to Hell.
And by the way, when Zombie Strange is surrounded by all of those like demonic spirits, I just wanted one of them to yell, "I'll swallow your soul! I'll swallow your soul!" And there's a sequence.
It gave me more of a Dementor from Harry Potter vibes, but
oh, I could see that. They're gonna suck Strange's soul out, and he would never be happy again.
Yeah, right.
And there's a scene that goes full on Evil Dead. It's when Christine is battling all these demonic spirits, and okay, it's a cool setup. Rachel McAdams, she gets to have a Bruce Campbell moment, but she has a line that's supposed to be badass and epic, but it's kind of awkward. Yeah. She literally is about to take out all these demons, and her line is, "Go back to hell." But she doesn't say it in a badass way. It just felt like very awkward, and I mean, come on. This was supposed to be a Bruce Campbell moment, and it just felt kind of flat.
You're like, okay, where's the...
Like Sam Raimi, I think this is a really great example of a below-average script being elevated by some rather stellar direction. Now, Kim, I've been reading some reactions from Marvel fans online because the Illuminati are in this movie. For those who don't know, the Illuminati, it's a group that consists of these exceedingly powerful Marvel characters. You have Charles Xavier from the X-Men, you have Mr. Fantastic, you have Black Belt, you have Namor, from the Kingdom of Atlantis, who did not appear in this movie. Instead, we had a Captain Marvel variant. So, Kim, as a Marvel fan, were you upset with how they treated the Illuminati in this movie?
A little bit. It was kind of, I mean, trying not to laugh at some of it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I think it wasn't as, like, upsetting and sad is because it's in a whole new multiverse, so anything is possible. You can kill, like pretty much people can die, and that there's still a chance that they'll be back. Yeah, and then future films and stuff.
The Illuminati members who get brutally killed in this movie, I mean, it is shocking. They really pushed the PG-13 rating in this movie. It's madness. It's chaos, but any of them could easily come back. I mean, there's so many universes. I mean, Marvel could retcon anything at this point. Which Illuminati member were you the most excited to see? Because I have my answer.
I have to say the one from Fantastic Four.
That'd be my answer as well.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that John Krasinski would show up as Reed Richards, and when he did, I got so excited, and it made me think of a moment from The Office, which you actually have on your phone here.
Oh, yes.
I wish I could show you guys this, but it's this great meme that we found online. It's basically, I present to you Reed Richards, smartest man alive, and then it shows him getting torn apart by Wanda, and then you have Michael Scott looking at John Krasinski in a fantastic uniform, saying, more like the smartest man unalive. Haha, boom, roasted. I just wanted Michael Scott to appear in that moment and roast Mr. Fantastic.
That's too funny.
They're having some complaints that they kind of dumbed down Reed Richards in this movie. He's supposed to be the smartest man alive, but he verbally tells Wanda what Black Bolt's powers are, and that gives her an advantage because she can literally alter reality, which she does. She takes Black Bolt's mouth away, and because his power stems from, speaking, he ends up blowing his brains out, literally.
No, that one was actually that one was kind of that was a little terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
It did give off that horror, whoa, what is this?
And then things,
because you're not expecting it to happen, and you're just like, what?
It was a moment straight out of the animated series Invincible, which is a very gory and disturbing show. And there's also a great episode of Rick and Morty, which, by the way, Michael Waldron, the screenwriter of this movie, he did work on Rick and Morty. But there's a really great episode of Rick and Morty called The Vindicators, where Rick and Morty encounter these superheroes in outer space. And Rick just spends the entire time tearing them apart, verbally, commenting on how stupid they are. And then he creates these elaborate saw traps, and he basically kills off all of these superheroes in the most disturbing, grisly ways. It felt like that episode of Rick and Morty when they just brutally killed off all these beloved comic book characters.
Especially the one from Fantastic Four. That one, I don't know why I shouldn't have laughed. I kind of laughed a little bit.
I did too.
Because of the way he died, and it was just like, really?
She turned him into pure spaghetti.
Yeah. that was like, I shouldn't laugh, but I'm laughing.
Yeah. And just relax, folks, because like we said, they could bring back any of these actors. I mean, they're making a Fantastic Four movie. John Krasinski is probably going to come back as Reed Richards.
I don't understand your motives, Black Panther, but you will soon learn the hard way that nobody attacks the Fantastic Four.
For something called the Multiverse of Madness, honestly, I thought the stakes were going to be a little higher because they only visit, like, what, 2 to 3 multiverses? I mean, you have that one, quick sequence where they're just rapidly visiting all these different multiverses.
Oh, yeah.
Including an animated multiverse, which actually cracked me up a little bit.
That and then the pain scene.
But I just thought that this film was going to be, like, a huge game changer for Marvel. And who knows, I mean, it might ultimately play a bigger part in the future, but I guess I was expecting a bit more. I thought they were going to take it to some crazier places than they actually did. And I'm not talking about cameos here. I mean, I didn't need, like, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Although I should ask you real quick, if you could have any Marvel cameo in this movie, like, who would you want?
Definitely Deadpool.
Deadpool?
We don't have too much of cameos of him in Marvel films.
Not yet. Apparently they're making a Deadpool 3, though, with Deadpool in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I am stoked. If it's one set of, like, Marvel films I've watched all of, it's definitely Deadpool.
I just want one sequence of Ryan Reynolds being made love to from behind, with the strap on. I would love to see that in a Disney property.
I'm still waiting for Deadpool and Spider-Man.
I would love to see that, too, because they would be total besties. Like,
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds and Tom Holland sharing the screen together. That'd be amazing.
Even, like, Andrew Garfield.
Now, let me ask you something else real quick. There are some visual standouts in this movie, but as far as the magical side of things, the magic was, overall, I felt a little tame and uncreative, except for a couple of standout sequences. One of them involving these music notes.
That was pretty creative.
That was creative and, fun to watch, but, yeah, just, when I heard Sam Raimi was going to direct a Doctor Strange movie, I mean, I was expecting all this visual craziness. The first film, in my opinion, had this one beat, to be honest, in terms of its creative visuals.
I will have to let you know when to watch it, but yes.
The best way I can describe the first film, it's like Inception, the movie Inception on steroids. Inception on crack.
Okay.
I mean, they literally fold cities in the first Doctor Strange
that's
movie.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, I was a little overwhelmed by that aspect, and like we said, the biggest issue this movie has is its screenplay.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that was really bothering you about this movie? Something they could have done better with? Something that you wish, they had, addressed more?
Not really. I mean, we pretty much covered the concerns I had.
Here's how I think they could have fixed Wanda Maximoff's character, and here's what I thought they were going to do. I mean, I thought the main antagonist was going to be someone really big. I guess you could say like a Mephisto. Mephisto is like the Satan of this universe. And I thought that she was going to go on more of a journey with Doctor Strange, as a protagonist at first. And then at the end, when they confront the big, villain who's been, behind all these crazy things happening in the multiverse, I thought that was going to be the moment where she ultimately turns, for some unknown reason. She ultimately defeats Mephisto or, whoever has been pulling the strings this entire time, but now she is the ultimate incarnation of the Scarlet Witch. We would have seen, more of that development. I'm fine with her being an antagonist, but just don't start off, don't start right off the bat with that, build up to it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree.
And like I said earlier, having an undeveloped villain be a big part of this movie, it just made things feel very by the numbers and timid.
Yeah.
Especially in a movie called Multiverse of Madness.
Exactly.
But boys and ghouls, those are our overall thoughts on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. AKA Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness?
Moms.
In the Multiverse of Moms. In the Multiverse of Melfs. Bad joke. But yes, As far as like where you would rank it among other Marvel properties that you've seen, where would this go on your list?
Probably, I'd say maybe a 6 or a 7.
6 or a 7?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'd probably give it like a 6.5 for some visually astounding sequences and
Yeah, because it still has some good stuff, and from what I've seen, there's worse.
there's worse. Yeah, we could be watching X-Men Origins Wolverine or Green Lantern with Ryan
That's
Reynolds.
my favorite. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I'm gonna kick you out of my house right now. If Green Lantern is your favorite DC movie, y'all get out of here. Get out of my
as
house.
much as I love Ryan Reynolds, no.
But as far as like other Marvel movies that are coming out, do you have one that you're really excited for that you can't wait to see?
Definitely Deadpool 3, but I would also say when they come out with another Spider-Man.
Fourth Spider movie with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
What about Thor: Love and Thunder?
I mean, I gotta catch up on the Thor movies. But
Oh, that's right. You haven't seen any of them.
yeah.
You know they're also making a Blade reboot.
No, but did you also see, and I saw this on an advertisement, that Disney Plus is releasing She-Hulk?
Oh yeah, I watched the trailer for that. I am going to have an open mind. I watched the teaser trailer for that series, and the CGI looked a little bit rough. I wasn't expecting her to look like the love child of Mr. Clean and Princess Fiona from Shrek.
No, literally.
I mean, they got a few months. They could like touch up the CGI and make it look better.
Yeah.
Blade, though, with Mahershala Ali, it'll be interesting to see how he compares to Wesley Snipes, the original Blade.
Yeah.
But yes, those are all overall thoughts on Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Moms.
Moms.
Kim, thank you so much for joining me in this video. It's really good having you back.
It was nice to be back.
As far as horror movies that are coming out the rest of this year, what are you excited for? What do you got?
Well, we did see the trailer to the new Jordan Peele movie. Nope.
That's-
I'm definitely excited for that.
The
And
perfect title for a horror movie.
Halloween ends.
Halloween Ends is going to be interesting, especially with the cliffhanger they left us at the end of Halloween Kills.
Yes, I need answers.
But Nope looks really interesting, and I'm a Jordan Peele fan. I also have an interest in aliens and abductions, which I mentioned before, and I've gotten teased for. But you know what? I like me some ETs. What can I say? I like me some aliens. Maybe that just makes me an extra special person, but you know,
No judgment here.
I like aliens. I'm fine. But yes, thank you so much again, Kim. Guys, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe for more horrific content. You know, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness had some horror elements, so we wanted to talk about it here. Us being such big Sam Raimi films, you know, that's another reason why we wanted to talk about this.
Definitely.
But thank you so much again, guys. Kim, I'm hoping to have you back later this year so we could talk about like other like horror films that are coming out.
No, definitely.
Now I'm going to use my magic to send you back to your multiverse where you came from. I'm having a magic block. Alright guys, take care, have a scary night.
Bye.